Well, howdy folks, Wade here, and welcome back to Wade's Old Ways. Go out to your fence right now and push your thumb against one of the posts down near the ground. If the wood gives a little, soft, spongy, or your fingernail goes right in, then something is happening inside that wood that the paint on the outside has been hiding from you. That post is rotting from the inside, and the paint is the reason it got there. There are barns standing in this country with siding that has never been painted. Not once, not ever. They have stood through 140 winters and 140 summers, through ice storms and floods and heat that curls shingles off a roof. The wood is still sound. You knock your knuckles on it and hear that tight, dry, solid knock of wood that has never lost its strength. The people who built those barns never used paint. And the reason their wood is still standing while painted fences rot and painted decks go soft underneath has everything to do with understanding what wood actually is and what paint actually does to it. Wood is not dead. It has been cut from the tree, milled, dried, but it never stops moving. On a humid day, it takes moisture from the air and swells just a little. On a dry day, it gives that moisture back and shrinks. Every single day, your fence posts and your barn siding and your deck boards are breathing, swelling, and shrinking with the seasons, with the weather, with the hour of the day. Paint is a skin of plastic. It seals the surface. That is the whole idea. And on the day you put it on, it works. But the wood keeps breathing underneath that sealed surface. It keeps swelling and shrinking every single day. And sooner or later, that movement cracks the paint, a hairline, down low near the ground, around a nail head, on a corner. A crack too small to see from 3 feet away. Water gets in through that crack. And here is where it turns ugly. The rest of the wood is still sealed tight under good-looking paint, so the water that gets in cannot get back out. It sits there, trapped, soaked into the wood behind the very paint that was supposed to protect it. And trapped water is exactly what rot feeds on. Trapped water is what the fungus needs to take hold. The post rots from the inside, while the paint on the outside still looks fine. By the time you see the problem, it is already deep. The old people understood something that 100 years of paint advertising has made most of us forget. You cannot win a fight against wood's nature. Wood moves. Wood breathes. A coating that tries to stop that movement will always lose, and the wood will always pay the price. So they did not try to seal wood. They did something that went in the opposite direction entirely. They used a coating that soaks into the wood rather than sitting on top of it. A coating that lets the wood keep breathing while making the wood itself inhospitable to the rot and the fungus and the insects that would otherwise eat it. That coating is as old as farming itself. It is made from 2 things that every farm in America had in abundance: lime and milk. Lime has been a building material for thousands of years. The Romans used it. The people who built the great cathedrals of Europe used it. Every old farmhouse and barn and stone wall in the world was mortared and plastered and coated with variations of lime. It is calcium hydroxide, a white powder burned from limestone and mixed with water, sold today in bags at any farm supply store or hardware store for a few dollars. What lime does to wood is the opposite of what paint does. Instead of creating a barrier on the surface, lime soaks into the grain, and once it is in there, it creates an environment that rot cannot survive in. Fungus that eats wood needs a certain chemistry to live. Lime changes that chemistry so completely that the fungus simply cannot establish itself. Insects that bore into wood face the same problem. The wood that has lime in it is wood that has become hostile to everything that would otherwise break it down. But lime alone will not bond to wood. Wood is too acidic, and lime mixed with water just runs off it and chalks away. What the old farmers discovered, and what the chemistry confirms, is that mixing lime with skim milk creates something entirely different from either one alone. The lime reacts with the protein in skim milk, a protein called casein, and forms a compound called calcium caseinate. It is a natural adhesive, one of the strongest natural glues ever used by human beings. The same family of adhesives was used to build furniture and even early aircraft parts. When lime and skim milk come together in the right proportions, the resulting mixture carries the lime deep into the wood grain and bonds it there permanently, not on top of the wood, inside it. And as that coating dries and begins to cure, something remarkable happens that takes weeks to fully reveal itself. Hydrated lime, left open to the air, slowly absorbs carbon dioxide and converts back into calcium carbonate, which is limestone, the same rock the lime was originally burned from. The coating inside the wood grain is, over the weeks and months after it is applied, literally turning back into stone. The wood is not being painted, it is being mineralized. Its surface is becoming, slowly and permanently, something closer to rock than to bare timber. This is why old barns coated with this mixture generations ago are still sound. This is why rain does not wear the coating away. Rain actually helps it cure. This is why you cannot chip it off with a knife the way you can chip paint. It is not a layer sitting on the wood. It has become part of the wood. The old farmers knew this not because they had chemistry books. They knew it because their fathers showed them, and their fathers' fathers before them. They knew that the barn milk mixture lasted. They knew the barns they built with it would still be standing for their grandchildren. And they were right. What most people do not know, and what no paint company has any interest in telling you, is that this knowledge never disappeared. It was simply outspent. There is no advertising budget for a powder that costs pennies and lasts for decades. There is no sales commission on skim milk, so the paint companies ran their campaigns, and the hardware stores built their displays. And generation by generation, the old knowledge moved further and further to the back of people's minds until most folks today have never heard of it at all. The lime is still on the shelf. The skim milk is still at the grocery store. The knowledge of what they do together has been sitting quietly in old farming communities and old building trades for all this time, waiting to be remembered. The barns that are still standing after 140 years are the proof, not the testimony of any one person. The wood itself is the proof. Sound, tight, strong, never painted, never rotted, still standing. Tell me in the comments, how many times have you painted the same fence, the same shed, the same deck? And when did it start going soft underneath? I read every single one of those comments. And the things you all share about your own places teach the next person more than I ever could. Thank you for being here today. If this was useful, hit that like button and subscribe to Wade's Old Ways. There is plenty more where this came from. Until next time, remember that the people who built this country with their hands knew things we are only just starting to remember. This is Wade. See you soon.